Welcome to the Zono Sports Show, where you know Zonos. Madness all weekend in both the men and women's NCAA tournament. If you watched, then you took in and soaked in all the magnificent moments that took place on the basketball courts this past weekend up until last night. We had our last championship game, Villanova versus Michigan. Now, we'll get to that in just a moment. Let's start with the women's Final Four. Spectacular. Had two legendary shots. Mississippi State beat Louisville in OT in the Final Four matchup that they both had. You know, wanted the Cards to get that done for the city, but they couldn't get it done. ACC champions, great season. Asia Durr, great player, but that Mississippi State team's very, very well coached, great team. That's why they advanced to the national championship game. They ended up playing the unlikely champion Notre Dame. Now, they were able to shock UConn and Gino Auriemma for a second straight year. We all remember the shot that Itty Bitty Williams hit at the buzzer against UConn. Played for Mississippi State. That's what put Mississippi State on the map in college basketball the past two seasons. Now, I'm not saying they didn't have a good program before, but that shot against UConn, that single shot, really brought some notoriety to that program, more so than it had before. Now, Arike Ogunbowale hit the game winner with 1 second over Gabby Williams. They refer to her as Captain America because she loves the character. Now, that shot was transcendent because she said Kobe was there. Arike said Kobe was there, so I had to hit it. Mamba mentality. Well, I tell you what, great shot that you hit against UConn, just considering the fact that Gino Auriemma, he always goes to Final Fours, always winning national championships. Gino Auriemma, what has he got, 10 or 11? 10. He's got 10 national championships. Now, the question I have for you guys out there, for you guys to answer, it makes me wonder whether or not a shot like that for a second straight year to lose in the Final Four and not advance to the championship game, UConn, does that damage or strengthen the UConn program? Now, because it could go one of two ways. UConn could say, oh, we're going to keep getting the best. They'll keep coming here, and we'll get back next year. And next year, we're going to make sure we blow everybody out and win a national championship. Now, the reason I say this could adversely affect the UConn program is because now you could have those five-star recruits, those young ladies that say, you know what, I don't have to go to UConn to go to a Final Four or win a national championship. I've seen them be beaten back-to-back years on, we can say lucky shots, but in order to create your own luck, you have to put yourself in position, so you have to play a fine game to even be in that particular moment. The game went to overtime. Arike Ogunbowale took advantage of it. So you could have young ladies say, you know what, I'm real good, number one player in the country. Do I have to go to UConn? Could I go to a Mississippi State? Could I go back to a Tennessee? They used to be really good and dominant in women's college basketball. Could I go to a Notre Dame? Could I go play for a Kim Mulkey down at Baylor? You're going to have this happen. This could have been a watershed moment for UConn women's basketball. Gino Auriemma, you may be losing the sauce. You may not be able to get those top recruits for the rest of for the duration of your coaching career at UConn because they now see that Goliath can be slain. Now, fast forward to the national championship game. Notre Dame beat Mississippi State, and the most amazing thing about this was that Arike Ogunbowale is a legend in the NCAA tournament now. Why do I say that? It's because she overcame a lot of adversity to get to this point. She wasn't shooting well the entire game. Notre Dame, the team itself, overcame adversity by losing, I think, 4 or maybe 5 players to ACLs throughout the year. So Muffin McGraw, to me, this was an all-time coaching job that she was able to put on display for this NCAA tournament and throughout the year. Muffin McGraw is an all-timer because, 16-year gap between championships. She was able to get it done despite all the adversity with her players and with the health of her team. She was able to coach her team to another national championship. It might have come, there may be a large stretch. 16 years is a long time. However, Arike Ogunbowale is an instant star. To hit those type of shots in back-to-back games, that's never happened in NCAA tournament history, a buzzer beater in the last second of the Final Four matchup and the national championship. So shout out to her. In WNBA, pay her some money. She needs cheese, all right? She needs cheese, Arike Ogunbowale for Notre Dame. Now, I fully expect UConn to be back here next year, but like I said, will we see a shift in where these ladies are going to school? Now, the men's Final Four will fast forward. Told you Michigan would beat Loyola by double digits. I told everybody out there that Krutwig wouldn't be able to handle Moritz Wagner in the post. Yeah, they played good for a majority of the game. However, the last 10 minutes of the game is where we really saw the cream rise to the top. We saw Michigan put together what they needed to put together to win the game. Maybe Loyola Chicago just ran out of bodies. I don't know. But I do know that Michigan showed they were the better team in the end. They won by, 12? Now, the great thing to look at for this, Me being optimistic would be to say, Loyola, they'll get much better inner city talent. They're right there in Chicago. Maybe you have those kids, they say, you know what? Javon Carter, who played at West Virginia, is from Maywood, Illinois. You know what? Maybe I'll stay home. Maybe I'll go to Loyola, Chicago. You know, a kid like Derrick Rose, who's from Chicago, maybe he says, you know what? Why go to Memphis when I could go to this Loyola Chicago school? They've been to a Final Four. We could be even better. We can make this the Chicago school. You have kids that are good enough to go to Northwestern. They may say, you know what? Northwestern's a great school, but why not go over here and go to Loyola Chicago? They could be the next Wichita State. They could be the next Butler. They could be the next VCU. They could be the next Dayton. So I think that this will definitely improve their program. Porter Moser, don't be thirsty and jump at the first check you see in college basketball. Hang out a little bit. Sister Jean will still be there, hopefully. She's 98. But hang out a little bit, Porter Moser, because what you did this season could definitely pay off in the long run at that institution. So hang out some. Now, Villanova, they flamed out Kansas, hit a record 18 of 40 from three. 43s ties the NCAA Final Four record for 3 points attempted. Now, they were able to get them out of the building quick. I said that they beat Kansas. I said Michigan would win by double digits. The national championship was epic last night. Villanova, they're the best team in the country. Clearly, it was on display last night. They're referring to this in Philadelphia as Dante's Inferno. Yes, Dante DiVincenzo, 31 points, 10 of 15 shooting, 5 or 7 from 3. The team in total shot 10 for 27 from 3. So they didn't shoot great from 3, but the guy who was on fire, 5 or 7 from 3, Dante DiVincenzo, is definitely somebody who probably made himself a lot of money. I heard LeBron say that today, but that's true. Dante DiVincenzo did it inside, he did it out. He made plays, got open, got people the ball, got some M1s. He did everything. He was ambidextrous with the basketball. Did what he had to do to make sure that people could make shots, take shots, make good shots. And he also helped on defense. Did you see the two-handed block? Did you see him go straight up? That's how you're supposed to block a shot. And for him to be a guard and do that, amazing, phenomenal. They call him the Michael Jordan of Delaware. That's what they say they call him. Well, last night, he looked like he had on some MJ shoes or socks or something. He had something on that allowed him to play and perform and just exhibit this magnificent performance. So shout out to DiVincenzo for getting that done. Michigan, they didn't play great. 3 for 23 from 3. Mo Wagner, I said that he had to score at least 30 or 40 for them to even have a shot. He scored 11 in the first 10 minutes of the game. His final tally, 16 points. I think he got too much into the trash talk, which that can go one of two ways when you do that. That can cause you to definitely lose focus and cause teams to get in your skin a little bit. Mo Wagner, you struggled, man. They needed you. Now, I don't know if he'll go pro. Hope he comes back. But fun group to watch. That's what John Beilein said. And I like watching this Michigan team. The freshman pool didn't score at all. Well, I think he did score. He didn't score a lot. But they just needed a little more production. They couldn't get it. Abdur-Rahman scored 23. Wasn't enough. Just wasn't enough. Jay Wright, 2 championships in 3 years. Shout out to Jay Wright. I remember back in the day when I was growing up and we were wondering, when's this guy going to get it done? Scotty Reynolds couldn't get it done. When's he going to find a team to get Lowry couldn't get it done. When did Allen Ray? These guys can't. But they finally are achieving some sustainable success. 3rd active coach to win multiple titles. Shout out to Jay Wright, and probably the snazziest guy to win a championship in quite some time. Now, the question I have to ask about college basketball in general, what will happen to the one and done rule? Now, there's some possible alternatives to this. Do we really have to say, kids, go to school a year and then you can go up to the pros? Why can't we create like a trust fund or something like that for these kids? Jalen Brunson, he's graduating in 3 years from Villanova. So at the end of the semester, he will have his college degree. He will have the opportunity to play another season, or he could just go to the NBA and say, I'm cool with it. Now, what's the benefit of him coming back to school, period? Now, if you have most people traditionally graduate in 4 years, so why not create some type of trust fund where per semester, based on what their sport brings in or based on what their contributions are to that specific team or sport, because I understand you can't do it for every single sport, the same amounts, but college basketball, say you want to give them $50,000 a semester just for simply completing the semester, keeping a specific GPA requirement, and attending class, attendance and everything like that, based on stuff that's not related to their travel and game schedule when I say attendance. So is that an option we could do? Because you do that for a kid like Jalen Brunson. Let's say, what would he have? 50, 100, let's see. So that'd be $300,000 he'd have in a trust fund already, correct? So he could say, you know what? Why can't he get access to that money? Because he's already graduated. Upon graduating with the required credits, you should be able to have access to that money. He could say, you know what, I'm going to take that $300,000 and I'm going to play and have fun another year in college. And if something does happen, I've got $300,000 where I could start my life. Why not do that if he's earned it? That's just my personal opinion. Or, that person could say, you know what, I don't want that money, I'm going to go pro. Give them an option, though. Give these kids an option and some incentive to feel like they're not being used by college basketball or college football or college lacrosse or tennis or swimming or baseball or soccer, on and on and on. So figure it out, NCAA. Figure it out. NBA-wise, Clippers, Denver, and Pelicans, they are separated by 3 games for the 8th seed in the West. And whoever gets it, I'd say there's 3 different scenarios here. Clippers, you don't get in. Doc Rivers, you may be out. Denver, you don't get in. Better practice some more for next year. And the Pelicans, if you don't get in, wish you still had Boogie Cousins. That's a tight race. I'm looking forward to see who will play the Rockets the Rockets in that first opening series, because honestly, I think that Denver matches up the best with the Rockets because they can shoot the 3 ball. They can shoot from deep. So whoever gets that seed, I think it'll mean a lot to the Rockets, and I think they'd much rather play the Clippers or the Pelicans because those games just kind of seem easy to them. Hasn't been hard. I think the Pelicans, they lost DeMarcus Cousins during a game where they were playing the Rockets. So, if I'm the Rockets, I'm hoping for Denver. I'm hoping for the Clippers. Now, Boston and Toronto, they're 1A, 1B. 1 and 2 in the East right now. 2 games separated from the first spot. Boston, they were hanging out there all year. Toronto came on, but what are they doing? They're faltering late. So tomorrow night sets up a big matchup on Wednesday night because you've got DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry versus a Horford, Kyrie-less team. They've got pieces, Terry Rozier, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. They all can play very well, but can they beat the Raptors? They get them at the crib. Can they get it done, though? Can they get it done? That's my question. Because if they can, I think if they get the 1 seed, it's going to benefit Boston a whole lot more not having Kyrie Irving than it will the Toronto Raptors. Toronto Raptors can prove they can play on the road. I think they play the Cavs tonight on the road. We'll see how that goes. Last time they played a game on the road, it looked okay, So we'll just have to see. Now, MLB opening day came and went. Cubs, to me, they're still drunk on 2 years ago. Get over it, guys. That World Series is done. It's over with. Now, why do I say they're still drunk? Well, they have 58 strikeouts in 5 games. That don't sound like somebody that's ready to be champs again. Because at this point, when I'm looking at the Chicago Cubs, I'm saying, hey, maybe you guys should get rid of Schwarber. Maybe you guys should get rid of Rizzo or Bryant. Get some young talent in there that's going to actually come and ball and actually focus. Because this clubhouse just looks like they're content that they won something that hadn't been done in 108 years. Well, I'm here to tell you, what have you done for me lately? Joe Madden, what have you done for Theo Epstein lately? Something to think about. Because if I'm Theo Epstein, I'm looking at this thing saying, whoa, guys, we are going in the wrong direction. And if I'm a Chicago Cubs fan, I'm not very encouraged by what I'm seeing to start the season. So hopefully the Cubs get it together. We shall see. The Giants have their own problems. We talked about that last week. We shall see. It's only been 5 games in. Opening day was last Thursday? So we'll see. Now, NFL-wise, Josh Rosen's in the news again. Jim Mora, his coach, came out and said that he must be challenged intellectually. A lot of people are criticizing Jim Mora, saying that, why would you release these comments prior to the draft? Well, it's not nothing we didn't already know. We've heard stuff about Josh Rosen and the things he said about CTE and college football, college players getting paid, amateurism. We've heard a couple of things from sound bites from Josh Rosen, so why are we surprised about what his coach said? If it affects him, then I blame the team who's actually taking that information and using it to solely determine whether or not this guy would be a good draft choice. So that's totally up to the discretion of the team, the selecting team. Do they want to deal with this guy? Is he worth it? Is he good enough? For me, I'd say yes. I like Sam Darnold way better. I like Baker Mayfield way better just because of the competitive edge that he has and how much he looks like he cares. Josh Rosen doesn't strike me as a football player. He strikes me more of a guy that can play football. And take that however you want it, but that's just my particular opinion. Zoe knows what he sees. I know what a football player looks like. And Josh Rosen looks like a guy that can just play football, but can do a whole lot of other stuff too. Nothing wrong with that. But something to think about if you're going to draft a guy and pay him a lot of money to run your team, throw the ball around, score touchdowns. Just saying. Golf, the Masters this weekend. I'll be watching it in Kansas with the fam. Tiger Woods, 12-1 odds to win the Masters. Now, can he win it? I'd say maybe. He's shown flashes of being the old Tiger Woods. However, I need to see a little bit more on the course this weekend. This will be a testament to all the work he's put in to get to this point. Can he get there? Can he be there when it counts? On Sunday, will we see a red shirt with a black hat? Will we see a clenched forearm? We'll have to wait and see. But right now, I think everybody's happy to see Tiger Woods is back on the tour. Happy to see that Tiger Woods can finally be Tiger Woods maybe once again. Potentially be Tiger Woods once again. Now, we'll have more to talk about next week. We know the playoffs are close in NBA. And Tiger Woods got this big tournament this weekend. So I have some reaction from that, from Augusta, So make sure you're always watching Zone No Sports Show because I love to give you guys the juice. And National Championship was great last night. I look forward to more. So that being said, thank you for watching the Zone No Sports Show, where Zone knows.